What's up, everybody? Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing I should have changed shirts, and I just realized. Oh man, I own a Jet Jaguar shirt. Why did I not change my shirt? It's okay. I'll maybe remember for the next one. Anyways, welcome back to my first impressions on Godzilla Singular Point. Godzilla Singular Point is the new Japanese anime for Godzilla. It is coming out in Japan currently. It currently airs there. Now, I don't know their distribution. I don't understand it. Sometimes episodes release on YouTube, sometimes they release on Netflix, and sometimes they release on TV. I have never, ever in the history of my life heard of a show that comes out on Netflix and TV at the same time. That's absurd. Well, that's what they're doing, and so the show's out. The first episode is, I should clarify, the first episode aired. I was able to watch it legally. Let me clarify as well. Nobody from Japan who's like a fan sent me this, is like, hey, here you go, here's access to the episode. Nobody pirated this for me. No fans sent me this. I didn't pirate this myself. I didn't find it on some illegal website or anything. I watched this episode legally and properly, okay? I went through the proper channels to do so. So I feel like I can talk about it. Now, I will also say the episode I watched is episode 1 of Godzilla Singular Point, and I watched it without subtitles. And if you've seen my review of Shin Kelly on the movie, you'd know that I don't understand things without subtitles when they're in a different language. Go figure. I have a very tenuous grasp on what occurs in this episode, and so I can't review it properly. I can just give my simple first impressions on it, and that's that. I'm also still learning the characters and everything else, so I don't totally understand what's going on. This will contain spoilers for Godzilla Singular Point episode 1. The episode's called Terzetto, and I'm just gonna spoil it here, so if you haven't seen it, avoid this video. Please, guys, do me a favor and let's not talk about spoilers outside of this video, okay? Please don't tweet about any of this. Please don't comment on other people's videos about this. Could we please keep the discussion contained to this video where I've seen the episode and anybody here is willingly engaging in spoilers? For those of you who don't want spoilers, get out of here. Can we please keep the discussion contained and not spoil it for everybody who doesn't want it spoiled, please? Now, I've done videos that kind of break down the general plot about, you know, there's this sound coming from Misaki or something like that, and people are investigating it. And meanwhile, there's this crew that works for the Otaki factory, and they're involved in this. There's actually a few different branches of people working on this mysterious sound. So the episode's all about sound. That's what I was able to gather. The episode's all about sound, and so everybody's trying to figure out what this mysterious sound is. Now, if you've looked into the plot descriptions that are posted on Toho's website, it talks about how there's this mysterious Western building that is being investigated, and when you see the first episode, you understand the context to that. Our main friendship duo, it looks to be Yun and Kato Havel. They appear to be the friendship duo. They work at the Otaki factory together, and they're investigating this sound. I actually really thought the idea was cool. Again, I can't really understand the dialogue, but I really liked the idea that we're kind of getting like ghost hunters going on in the Godzilla universe. It's something we've never really dealt with as paranormal investigators. Meanwhile, Mai Kamino, she's also working on this project. She's interacting with some other characters who I will also say their designs suit their personality very well. You have Junya Sato. He appears to be like a nerdy uptight politician guy, and he references his boss at one point, I believe, who's Yuki Kaneko, who's not in this episode. Meanwhile, they're also working for this dude, Tsunotomo Yamamoto, and I'm pretty sure this guy's gonna wind up being a bad guy. That's just my prediction, is that he'll probably be a bad guy based on this episode. But yeah, they're all investigating this sound together, and that's kind of the episode. You know, we are introduced to the AI characters. Jung shows up, and he's an AI, and he's just on some devices, and then at one point, Mai decides to transform her version of Jung into Paro 2. And so those are the characters, you know? We also meet Otaki Goro. He's the guy who runs the Otaki factory, and we're led to believe he's building Jet Jaguar. I'm sure they outright state that he's the one who built him. But yeah, there's Jet Jaguars at his factory, and he appears to have built him. There's not a lot I can talk about this episode without understanding it, but I will say I liked a lot of what I saw here. I thought that the visuals looked awesome. I think that the sets are really well done. I know it's weird to call them sets, but it's like strangely mixed matched, where the settings themselves are so intricate and so detailed versus the characters, which are like 2D anime characters. They kind of feel out of place, but it actually really works. It's really beautiful. I thought the whole episode was really beautiful. I thought there was a lot of really cool moments and shots in this episode, and I thought the music was great. I think that when Yamamoto is introduced, they play this really interesting kind of ominous theme that led me to believe something's off with this guy, and I thought it was really cool. I liked the music, and of course there's some stuff at the end of the episode which I'll talk about, but I thought it was really good overall. And even though I couldn't understand it, I was super engaged in this episode. I found it very interesting, very intriguing. I was along for the ride, and I'm excited to see more. I'm excited to see where this develops, because there's a lot of interesting stuff going on, even though we don't really get to see a lot in this first episode. And so anybody who hasn't seen it, just know that you don't get to see a lot. Now, I know everybody wants me to talk about the kaiju stuff in this episode, and so I will. There's not a lot of it. In fact, there's barely any. It's at the very end of the episode, we see what I'm going to call Radon, right? Because that's kind of the other pronunciation for Rodan. I'm going to call him Radon because there's a distinction between what we see in this episode and then the other types of pterodons we see in the trailers, which look a little more like classic Rodan. So I'm going to call this guy Radon. He's got Rodan's roar from the original movies, which sounds really cool here. I freaking loved hearing the old sound effects come back. And he attacks Yun while Yun's trying to save this little kid. Kind of comes out of nowhere and freaks everybody out, and that already was super intriguing. Where'd he come from? I don't know. I have a guess. It's not something we see in this episode. It's just some stuff from the trailers. I think probably one of the bad guys has breached into another dimension, and now he's pulled this monster out of it. Jet Jaguar's there. I think Jet Jaguar is going to attack Radon in the next episode, and Otaki's probably going to operate him, but as for now, Jet Jaguar never activates. I think some kids make fun of him at one point. I think Toho's poking fun at the character. I was super intrigued by this. And then, of course, the mystery of Godzilla. So you have Mei. She's very interested in kaiju. At least that's the impression that I get. Or Mai. I don't know how to say her name. I'll call her Mai. That sounds a little more Japanese. So Mai is very intrigued by all the monsters. She's clearly interested. She's got a phone case of Godzilla and a backpack of a monster. Of course, it's not a Godzilla phone case. It's just a phone case that looks like him. And then she's interested in this Kolshida poster, which is like this big mural in the middle of the town. And that also ties into the beginning of the episode, opens with a lantern festival where we see a big Hedorah art piece. So I think this town worships this legendary monster Hedorah, and I have a feeling that the whole thing is going to play a lot into mythology. And my guess, of course I don't really have much context, but my guess is that there's this mysterious sound that they're intercepting from another dimension. Probably has to do with the mysterious guy we keep seeing photos of in the trailers. He's probably in this other dimension or something, and he's created a sound that can maybe bridge the dimensions, and somebody out there is amplifying this sound in order to breach into this other dimension. That's just a complete random guess, but that's my guess. I'm assuming that's what's happening, and I think that'd be really interesting if it was. And so I think that's spawning in kaiju, and I do think kaiju have been in this world before. Clearly they have a Hedorah poster, and at the end of the episode it's flat out revealed to us Godzilla has existed in this world and he is now dead. I really like that they have to wear like radiation suits to go see him, and it kind of caused like this 3D effect on screen, which I thought was awesome. But Godzilla's bones are found, and so I think they're gonna resurrect and reincarnate Godzilla in this show, which will be awesome. And oh my god, when they play the Ifukube music, it's super cool. I was all into it. And that's the episode. I mean, it doesn't give us a lot, not a lot to work with, but I found it super intriguing, super engaging, even though I couldn't understand it. Maybe it's because I have to work a little harder considering I can't understand it, but from what I saw, I thought it was awesome, and I'm very excited to see more. So those are my first thoughts on Godzilla Singular Point. I thought it was really cool, and I will continue to cover the show as I get to see it. I don't know when I'm gonna get to see these episodes, because again, I don't really understand the way they're being released. I may or may not be able to watch them weekly when it airs in Japan over the next month. I don't know. I truly have no clue, but when I get to watch them, I will review them for you. I'm not going to be posting my reactions publicly, more than likely, simply because I don't want to spread spoilers to the people who don't want them. So if you're interested in seeing my reactions to Godzilla Singular Point as it airs, and you're interested in hearing my reactions early, because of course everybody will hear my reactions eventually when the show comes out in America, but until the show's fully aired in Japan, I don't think I'm gonna post my reactions publicly. So if you want to see my reactions early, I'll post them available for my patrons on Patreon. So if you're interested in that, come join the Patreon, and then you'll be able to talk about it with us. So I have a Discord server for my patrons, and if you want to talk to me, that's a good place to do it, and we can have discussions about Singular Point when my reactions go up, and they'll get to see them earlier. Again, this is assuming that I can keep getting access to these episodes, because if they're not released least outside of when they air, I'm not going to be able to watch them simply because I just can't watch them while they air. It's a little complicated, but basically, if you want to hear my first reactions, if I'm able to post them while the show is airing, join the Patreon and you'll get to see them early. I don't know. This video is a bit of a mess. I didn't write any script for this. Clearly, this is why it's so much less formatted than my normal videos, but I figured it was a bit more of a chill discussion considering it's a bit more of a chill topic. I have no clue what on earth they say in this episode, so I don't really get it, but I'm very interested to see more. All right, well, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys next time for the next one. D-Man out. What? You never watched my 66 years of Godzilla tribute? You know it's posted, right? I'm not supposed to give my opinion, but go check it out. And then you can tell me if you like it or not.